everyone to our Iced Coffee Friday podcast. Unfortunately, Brian is not here. He went back home to Fort Lauderdale. So here we have Crystal and
Brandon.
And today we have Robin Thompson, who's a fantastic piano player. And we're going to interview him today. So, Robin, tell us how you're doing today.
Hi, great. Thank you for having me on the show. It's a pleasure for you to bring me here.
Thank you for coming. So, would you like to tell us about yourself?
Yeah. Well, I'm a pianist. I've been right now. I'm graduating senior from UCF. Came here fall of 2015 and just went through the whole track. And now I'm kind of at the end of it.
Oh, that's great. Okay, so my first question I always like to ask is, what do you do outside of music?
Hard to say because music is such a huge part of my life that a lot of it is just consumed in just that. But I mean, I think like most people, I do definitely do other things. I watch shows, movies, read books, stuff like that. I think for me, I really enjoy also just reading a lot about different things, different fun facts and interesting stuff like about people, cultures, history especially.
That's cool. What's your favorite book?
Recently a book I've started reading, I have not finished, is called Art and Fear. Yes, I forget who wrote it, but it's a very good book. It's basically just detailing, I guess, it's kind of like in some ways, sort of a guide to musicians and just like artistry and just the sort of things that all of us really benefit in terms of just being out and in sort of surviving in the real world as an artist. And it's a really good book. I definitely is recommended for anyone like the musician, the painter, or even just from different fields too.
Oh, that's great. I'm gonna read that book.
Yeah.
Do you have any goals outside of music?
Well, I definitely want to keep working. I've definitely started teaching a lot in the last couple of years, and that's something that I've really become very passionate about too. I hope to definitely become involved at some point at a high level teaching. Also, just many goals like that. I think it's something I'd really like to do at some point in the future. But.
And I believe you mentioned that over the summer you're going to China.
Over in August, yeah.
Oh, okay, in August. What was that for again?
Yeah, so that's a great opportunity that just came about recently. It's basically a teaching English program. It's abroad in Beijing, and it's going to be basically just a 12-month excursion, basically. Teaching kids of different ages. I don't really know quite what age I'm going to be teaching right now, but basically, yeah, it'll be probably younger kids, I think.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Do you speak Chinese?
No, I'm still learning a little bit, But I think definitely I'll learn while I get there too.
Oh,
yeah.
Cool.
Chinese is really hard.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of intonation and then you got characters. But yeah, so good luck with that.
Yeah, no, I started taking it in August last year at UCF, but only once a week. So it was I learned a little bit here and there, but nothing fluent nearly,
Oh, well, good luck to you.
Well.
So how and why did you start playing piano?
So that was definitely something that I started before I really knew how to talk, I think, or really had just had I started piano as a kid. I started taking private lessons as when I was 5, and it was something that a lot of the kids in my family were doing. A lot of my cousins were taking piano lessons, and it was mostly because in my family, my grandfather was the only musician in the family. He had been a jazz pianist and organist. He kind of played around in a lot of bands back in the day and really became just really well acquainted with different styles. And so music was always a big part of my dad's family. And so I think we all kind of just started taking lessons that way. And I guess I just really stuck with it. And that's kind of how I got to where I am now.
What do you love about music and playing piano?
It's very personal to me. I think when it comes to just playing any style, any repertoire, anything that I pick that I can really connect to, I get very close to it. I think it's with any piece of music, it can be moving, it can be exciting, it can be evocative. I think, and that's something that I find it's always unpredictable. You never know what you're going to get with music. I think and no matter what you're playing.
Who are your inspirations in music?
Inspirations. So for me, probably one would be John Williams, the composer.
Yes.
Part of the thing that got me into music too was also just film scores. I really fell in love with Star Wars when I was a kid, and every other film that was composed by Williams. All of the different tracks he's made, and
so amazing.
He's For me, he's my favorite composer. I know, yeah, I know he. I think he's. I just really admire what he's done and what he's accomplished. I think definitely as a film composer, he's definitely, or as a composer in general, he's definitely at the forefront of a lot of great things that have been done in the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he started as a jazz pianist.
He did, yeah.
I think that was amazing.
No, yeah, I think what was some of the work he did? He worked with Mancini, I think. He did a lot of different stuff in TV in Hollywood during the 50s and 60s before he got into doing Fiddler on the Roof, and then from there he kind of just started getting more well known and eventually did Jaws. I think that was kind of his big break.
I think he was a pianist in West Side Story as well.
Was he? Okay.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I thought that was so neat.
That's interesting, yeah.
Yeah, I saw that in that movie Score.
Oh yeah, I have to watch that.
Oh, it's so good. My sister's seen it a few times, but I have to sit down and watch it.
There's a video of Williams playing jazz piano too. I think or accompanying someone like a singer. I forget what it is, but it's just pretty neat to see like that side of him that you don't really often see.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Definitely.
Did John Williams ever like spark like an interest in composition, or do you just?
Definitely, yeah. It's something that I haven't done too much to be. I'll be fair, but it's something that I really am very, I guess, interested in. That's something that I did write a little bit as a kid, just a couple pieces here and there. When I got to college, I took lessons in composition, and that helped me think of some ideas and think of some ways to put things in a structure. But yeah, he definitely is a big inspiration for me, and I definitely want to do more of it if I can in the future.
Is there a specific song that you like to go to for inspiration, or you try to emulate in your own?
A lot of it is classical stuff, I think. For instance, for me, I think just the most important classical piece of music for me was The Rite of Spring by Stravinsky. From an orchestration standpoint, I think it's very brilliant, and I think that there's a lot of things to it that just are very impressive. I think all of his ballets he wrote, Petrushka, The Firebird, and then The Rite of Spring, all of those I think can be great examples of scoring and also just storytelling too. Yeah. so one of the things that I thought about when you talked about being in a band was, so in 6th grade, and this was when I was 12, it was when I first started learning how to play guitar, and that was kind of, because I also play guitar too, and that was something that, and my school had like a little thing where my teacher, he had his own recording studio at his church, and he was like, so how we're gonna do a battle of the bands with all the periods in the class, and basically, and he was like, yeah, let's form different groups and different depending on the classes. And my class was like only 3 kids playing on 3 guitars basically, and 1 saxophone player, and like it was a weird combo, but then we all played the music, we all got it together, played as a band, and the teacher was a drummer, and that was kind of like the first real fun experience I had doing like a huge spectacle like that was outside of piano playing, and it was definitely fun. We actually ended up winning the competition, and got to record a CD.
Put that on your resume.
Yeah, we were called the Chokers or something like that. It was weird. It was funny. This is around the time I think Dark Knight was coming out, so I think we were all kind of in that mode.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So it was a really fun experience. I really enjoyed that aspect of it, and definitely playing in groups has always been something that I think I really enjoy working with other people. I really enjoy playing in different ensemble settings and groups. Even here at UCF, I've done a bunch of different collaborations just with different ensembles. And that's definitely like one of the goals that I want to have. I want to go out and do more, join different groups and just get involved in different performances like that.
Wow, that's amazing. So what was your weirdest performance or most interesting?
Well, let's see. Weird, I'm not really too sure. It was definitely, I think probably nothing crazy. Just one gig I had for just a not wedding reception, just like a ceremony. They were like, oh, we need a pianist for this, and then they asked me in to play. And I was like, yeah, sure, I'll come over there, and I gave them my rates, all that. I show up, and all they have is a keyboard that is not even necessarily, I think, weighted. I think, to be honest, it was like half weighted.
Was one of those like newly beginner keyboards?
It was like a 88 key keyboard, but just like I don't know, it was just really old, I think.
Oh.
And also there was no pedal, there was no bench, no music stand. So it was kind of like just not really much thought about came into that. I mean, I think I've played, I've had a lot of pit experience. I've had a lot of playing and just doing a lot of different shows. I really enjoyed in my high school, my first pit performance. It was playing in the show for Young Frankenstein in the community theater. That was kind of like a fun experience that I had too.
Yeah, pit orchestra is always fun.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that you played guitar. I actually didn't know you played guitar.
Oh, yeah.
And you also play violin, right?
I do, yeah.
Yeah. Do you play any other instruments?
Trumpet and French horn. That's basically the only other two, and not very well, but yeah.
I felt that, yeah.
Yeah, no, in high school I picked up violin and trumpet at the same time. That was around the time I started playing both. It was just because my school had a band and orchestra. So it was like, oh yeah, just go ahead and try playing in both if I can,
That's cool.
What's your favorite out of all of those other instruments?
Probably violin, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the one I've stuck with, and also just the one I think has, I think just a lot of great nuances to it, and I really love the sound of it too, even if it is hard. So yeah.
So violin, you said violin's your favorite,
Mm-hmm.
but you're a piano major.
Yes.
Can you explain that?
Piano I played the longest, and yeah, like I mentioned with what I love about, when you asked me the question about what I love about music, part of that is also the piano. I think a lot of the music of the piano can really be, it's just very diverse, and you can do so much with it, and I think that's part of what I really like about it. So
I love that too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just, it's all over.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Was there a performance that you've seen that really inspired you?
Yes. So kind of going back to the composition idea and just in general with, I guess, just my influence in music. Hans Zimmer as a composer was someone who I never particularly enjoyed as a kid. I don't know, for some reason. So I don't know, something about it. Just I always kind of, I never got it, I think.
Okay.
And it took a while until my freshman year of college. So here at UCF and Dr. Phillips, actually in downtown Dr. Phillips, there was for UCF Celebrates the Arts, that was the second annual, I think, or third or fourth. And for this special event, they had Hans Zimmer come to give a concert. Did you know about that?
I went to that.
You did? Okay.
And that was the one where they also talked about like the discovery of gravitational waves.
Yeah, it was the warp side of the universe. That was the presentation, and it was basically just an hour long or hour and a half long presentation about black holes and all the different sciences behind Interstellar in the movie Interstellar, and then it was a performance by Hans Zimmer and his band as well as a lot of the UCF faculty. And I don't know, I think it was just kind of my first real. It left a really great impression. I think Interstellar was actually one of my favorite soundtracks of that year, and for some reason it clicked for me. I think it made sense then, and it also really opened my eyes to just how much more you can do with music and with what we have today. I think really it helped me really understand the 21st century musician. It really helped me understand where everything, how much you can do, what you can expand, and just what different possibilities are. And I think it was just left a really great impression on me, I think. Yeah.
That's wonderful.
You went there too, right?
Yeah.
So it was definitely a spectacle. I think again, it was just an hour, I think the performance was like 40 minutes long. It was just like a 40-minute wave of sound that was just really great. Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
What are some of your big plans for the future?
So of course I mentioned China, that I'll be doing that. Have a couple,
exciting.
a lot of traveling I think that I hope to do the next year. So I really just want to see new places, learn about different people, different cultures, different aspects. I think I'm just maybe at that age where I like to do that. So I think So I want to do more of that. Playing wise, I definitely want to keep doing music, even though I'm going to be there for teaching English. I'd still love to perform music. I'd still love to keep working on my skills and just playing in general. Composing wise, I really want to do more of that if I can. I really would hope to get to that point. One of my goals, I guess, that I really am interested in doing is really just getting involved in a lot of in producing and working more in media and aspects and things like that, such as television and or even films. Yeah. So that's something that I would hopefully aspire to do, and that's part of my process right now.
So where can we find you on social media or performing anywhere?
Not too much with social media. I've only just started to get acquainted with that, but it's you can find me on Facebook, Robin Thompson. My YouTube channel is inactive, but I've been starting to put more there. It's also, if you search YouTube Robin Thompson III, you can also find that. Just Roman numeral 3 at the end.
Okay, thanks.
And you can go on Facebook too to find more updates about future performances that I do. So.
Oh, great. And what is the number one big lesson that you've learned?
Music has definitely taught me to be patient. Music's definitely taught me to really listen. I think something that I've always wanted, I think has really helped me shape my viewpoint of how things should be, how things are. But I mean, just outside of music, I think just part of what I've learned over the years is really just to really go with your instincts, to really take a chance, to go in and go for it and really try to be as fearless as possible. And by that I don't mean I don't think having fear is unnatural. I think it's very common. I think all of us kind of fear failure or the unknown and a lot of things like that. And I think for me the biggest thing has been just to take a chance. I think that we all, like I said, fear failure, but if we don't fail, that means we haven't learned anything. We haven't made any effort to change, and we haven't made any effort to take initiative. And I think in order to do that, you have to really be bold. I think you really have to make that decision. If you feel like if you have that impulse, that feeling, maybe I should do it. And that's, And I think that would definitely, that goes a long way in life.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming, Robin. Yeah. It's been a pleasure interviewing you, listening to your stories.
Yeah, it's been fun. And thank you for having me.
Yes. So this was our Iced Coffee Friday podcast. I hope you all have a good morning. This is Crystal.
Brandon.
And Brian is in Fort Lauderdale. Have a good morning.